Today's guest is the awesome and very talented Michell Mercer. Michelle is a certified holistic pulsing practitioner and teacher with over 20 years experience. She is also the director of the Australian School of Holistic Pulsing. Michelle trained with Sally McKern, BOA DIP HP, an original student of Tovey Browning, gaining her diploma in 2004, and then went on to study and graduate as a teacher with the Australian School of Holistic Pulsing in 2005. Michelle has trained in voice dialogue, a Jungian-based, I hope I said that right, counselling technique that works on the psychology of the selves. That's interesting. With the originators Hal and Sidra Stone, PhDs in the USA, gaining her Level 3 certificate. Coupled with 30 years experience as a teacher of basic counselling and communication skills in Northern New South Wales, a group facilitator in women's parenting, various self-awareness groups, and the inclusion of many healing arts, she has studied over the years. This makes Michelle's teaching and her sessions and retreats very unique. Michelle spent over 30 years in Northern New South Wales, Australia, eventually moving to the Sunshine Coast in Queensland to care for her parents. Michelle has actively been involved in assisting at many births and deaths over the years, and from this has gained invaluable experience and information that she lovingly passes on to others. Michelle now resides in Bali part-time and travels back to Australia for workshops and sessions and to visit her family. Michelle is a very intuitive, fun and engaging therapist and facilitator who enjoys every facet of her work. Welcome, Michelle. It's such an honour to have you here on the show, and all the way from Bali.
Thanks, Trish.
Yay! And for everyone watching, we're a little bit early and we're 2 days late. And now that the internet is working again, we're just going with the flow because that's just how we roll.
So we have to at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, Michelle, let's start with, you just have done so many fascinating things, but do you want to explain how you started on this holistic healing journey? Is it something that you've always been attracted to, or did something kind of shift in your life and you were drawn to this energy work?
Well, I think like from a very young age, I've always been attuned to other people's energies, and so it's been something that's been a part of my life forever. But as I guess grew up into an adult and started to have my children, I was looking for different alternative medicine and ideas to bring up my children, and and then I guess like just I was doing like lifeline counselling, doing a whole heap of other sort of, I think I delved into many different types of modalities, and then I got quite sick. So interestingly enough, with a virus, with Ross River virus.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's debilitating. That really knocks you out. It's a forced rest.
Yes, which exactly, and that's it's I guess interesting in that we're dealing with this virus now, and I think it's like the Mother Earth is giving us a forced rest as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, looks like Michelle has gone. Her internet in Bali is a little bit tricky. That's all right. We'll just keep talking until she pops back in. So Michelle is in Bali at the moment. Oh, she's back. She's back. Hey, Michelle, you're back. Hey, welcome back.
So yeah, like I was saying, so I was like a mum to 4 daughters. I was living in the bush. I was totally like a super mum, and I was doing everything.
Yeah.
And Ross River just knocked me, like you said, just knocked me out.
Yeah.
And I had also had like Epstein-Barr, which is the glandular fever,
Okay.
and a few other viruses actually in my body, and
Wow.
um, I just basically stopped. I got chronic fatigue, couldn't get out of bed for about 3 months.
Yeah.
But I had 3 kids, and my
You've
partner
got
and
to.
I at the time lived separately, so I was struggling
Mm,
along, I guess, on my own, and
yeah. It's hard enough bringing 3 kids up without all of those things. I
yeah,
mean, um,
I don't really know how to
getting
do it.
out of bed and feeding your children every day is difficult in so
Yeah,
many ways, just in normal health, right?
yeah. Well, my 12-year-old daughter actually took a lot of the load, and
Yeah.
luckily she could help me look after the younger ones, and I had a lot of friends in the community. And this is, again, it's all so reflective of what's happening at the moment. And,
Yeah.
we have to pull together as a community and help each other. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
So,
not being
yeah,
in the fear of it. And because I have known other people with even just one of those things, just with Ross River. And when you buy into the problem of it and you buy into the fear of it, it's difficult for your body to recover because you're just creating more of it. So, I mean, obviously you can't ignore it. You have to recognize it, but you also
yeah.
have to focus on health and well-being to, move forward from it. Yeah.
That's
So,
where pulsing came into it for me. So,
okay.
you know, I had like quite severe fibromyalgia, and so I couldn't get massaged or have any body work. and
Oh gosh.
and um, and Sally was a new member of our community, and offered me, a free session. So I took her up on the offer, and as soon as I laid on the table and she started to rock me, I was gone. It was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful.
Wow.
Uh, just to have the loving touch, the nurturing, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I just said, okay, book me in for like 12 sessions.
Yeah.
and uh, and
Yeah.
then it was through that time, or that took over 12 months, but
Yeah.
at some point I had the realization that when I was little, the only time that I really got a lot of attention was if I was sick. And
Interesting, isn't it?
yeah. So it was like I got asthma, which was a really good one, I stopped breathing.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and both my parents worked, and it was I was a third child, so it was
Yeah.
hard to get any attention really. But
Yeah.
um,
And I know with the fibromyalgia, that's really destroying yourself from the inside out. So,
yeah,
really, or not getting that attention always also does something to your worth and your value. So, by doing
definitely.
all of the holistic pulse, what's it called? Pulsing.
Pulsing, yeah, holistic
Yeah.
pulsing.
So by doing that, did that not only help heal your body, but also heal those old beliefs that you had about
Yeah,
yourself?
definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like during one of the sessions, I just, it's like little light went on, and I went, aha. And then I just made that decision through in the
Yeah.
session. I said to myself and out loud, I don't need to be sick to get attention.
I
And
love
and
it.
then I started to heal, yeah, from there.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Mm,
I was just talking to somebody earlier about how energetics work, and sometimes they're so subtle. Anything to do with energetics, healing, chakra work, body work, anything like that to do with the energetics of the body. Sometimes people don't see a tangible result straight away. It's not like fixing up a broken leg and putting it in plaster, right?
that's right.
But you feel differently. and instantly, and you can change the way you feel instantly. And when you change the way you feel, everything changes physically then, because it all starts with a feeling. So for you to really come through that in just 1 year is phenomenal, right?
Well,
Other people years.
it took me like 7 years to get
Oh,
through
did
all
it?
that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we've lost Michelle again. She'll be back. She'll be back. So let me read you something else about Michelle. So she does holistic pulsing. You can connect with Michelle. Oh, she's back again. You can connect with Michelle at Facebook on Relax, Relate, Rejuvenate. All right, let me bring you back on screen again.
The stream's over, and
That's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know
join
why
on
that's
my
happening.
end, or
I don't know. Technology has been quite odd at the moment, and we're not even in a retrograde anymore. Maybe the technology is a bit fearful of the virus too, right?
Yeah.
This is what happens when everyone works from home, you see. So, so Michelle, how does it actually work? Tell us a little bit about it. What is it? How does it actually work? And it's obviously safe for everybody, and especially if you've got a bit of a body that's a bit broken.
Definitely. So, it works at every level, which is why it's called holistic. It was developed by Tovi. She was Israeli woman who was osteopath and naturopath, and wanted to add, the emotional element in there. So, so it works by simply, it's a gentle rocking motion that is a two-way healing. So I'm moving my body, and then it's coming through into you. You lay on a massage table fully dressed, and then I gently rock the body. So we move around the whole body. We call it like a dance around the body almost. So the central nervous system is like hypnotized into letting go, and
I love that. Yeah.
So the body, often, I mean, look, I have massages as well, and I have all sorts of other body work, but often it's hard for us to let go immediately. But with pulsing, your body it has no choice; it just lets go, and so you get the benefit from it straight away. So it takes you quite deep. There's like a rhythm and water element. So we liken it to, we start life as a fetus in our mum's belly, and we're in water, and we're getting gently rocked as she moves around about her daily business. So it takes us back into that very safe place, and when we're there, it allows us to let go and to release. So it all happens without us actually having to do anything. It just happens by itself.
I wonder if on a cellular level too, the cells go back to that fetus kind of moment and let go of all the stuff that's been stored in them that is foreign to them, really, that we've gathered. Yeah. And do you do the same when you're helping with birthing and
deathing?
Death as well. Birthing and deathing, the beginning and the end. And what a beautiful way to start life, and what a beautiful way to end life, and what a beautiful way to live life in between. I think you've got all the bases covered.
No, definitely.
When you get back here to the sun.
Sorry.
When you get back here to the Sunshine Coast, I'll have to come and have a session with you.
I'm not sure, but it may be sooner than I imagine. So I've just packed up all my stuff here, and very sadly for me, in many ways, coming back to a beautiful event, the birth of my granddaughter, But
Beautiful.
also I'm leaving my home, which I class this as my home now, and I'm leaving my home behind. And but
Yeah.
you know, I'm a Gemini. You know, I love change. So
You'll be back. You'll go back.
I'll definitely
Oh,
go
and
back.
and Michelle, do you practice other things as well, or is your main one is the pulsing?
Well, in amongst pulsing, we also use that technique that you talk about, which is Jungian
Right.
psychology. Yeah, so it's a
Okay.
voice dialogue, and so
Yes.
while we're pulsing, if people start to release or want to talk a bit, we might start to talk to the parts, and so the parts
Ah.
of ourselves. Yeah, so we all
Okay.
know about the parts because we actually talk in them all the time. Like one part of me wants to do this, but the other part, another part's like, oh, I'm not sure, or so we start
Yeah.
to talk to those parts, and often
Yeah.
they'll sit, especially if you haven't been listening to them and
Yeah.
pushing them down or into some part of your body where they might cause a bit of pain. It's like they're yelling out at you, I want to be heard, listen to me. And
Yeah.
so we'll talk with them, and
Is that the voice dialogue? Is it? Is that the voice dialogue? Yeah.
yeah, so there's
Oh,
voice dialogue in itself is a counselling technique, and
okay.
I do that virtually now, like online. So it may be
Awesome.
coming into itself quite big now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, I do that as a counselling technique online. So on my website you can get um, virtual counselling. I also do like a self-love 6-week online course, which
Okay.
is a lot more than self-love. It's looking at core beliefs,
Yeah.
boundaries, inner critic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
I do that as well.
the interesting thing with self-love is that I think more people are aware of it now. I remember many years ago I created a course, a mini course about loving yourself more. And at that time, people were, no, I don't want to love myself more. I just want more money. I just want a better relationship. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't really emotionally responsive to people because
Yeah,
there's nothing to do with self-love. But now I think people are more open to that and they realize that it's everything's got to do with what we feel about
right,
ourselves, right? So I think that's
exactly.
great that you've got that there too. And
Yeah,
it teaches you so much about yourself and
definitely.
loving all those parts of yourself, even in the pulsing,
Yeah.
brings more in on the outside. It's just how it works.
Well, the one of the some of the guiding principles in pulsing, they permeate right through all my work, and that is like awareness,
Yeah,
acceptance, and re-empowerment. So,
beautiful.
as soon as we have awareness around anything, it's
Yeah,
changed instantly.
absolutely.
Yeah. So then,
And acceptance,
and
because
then
when you're in resistance and when you're fighting something, it
yeah,
just grows.
exactly. And then then acceptance of that. And also, like while I'm pulsing someone, I have total acceptance of me and them as they are right in that moment, which also
Yeah,
again gives a beautiful gift
yeah,
of allowing you to be just as you are. Nothing to fix,
that's
nothing to
right.
change, just as
That's
you are.
absolutely.
And the
Yeah.
beauty and the magic of that is that within that, then you do change and you do shift. Yeah,
Yeah, incredible. I love all of that.
yeah.
And Michelle, you're also, for everybody listening, Michelle and I are part of a group called the Enlightened
We
Changemakers
are.
in the beautiful Holistic Bliss magazine. So here's Michelle. Here's Michelle here, right in the middle. Hey! And what does it mean to you to this is a feature that that we're in, and as you know, this is part of the Enlightened Changemaker series. I'm interviewing everybody over the next 12 weeks from the from that group, because we all, you know, we all need our work highlighted and put a light shone on it. And you know, when all of the people that came together for this, like, I hadn't met any of you before really, and the work that you all do is amazing. And so to learn tonight about pulsing has been beautiful, because I've never heard of it before. So we're part of this group, and we're in this magazine every month for the next 12 months, but we're going to be doing so many other things with that. But what does it mean to you to be like an enlightened change maker, really getting out there and helping people change their lives?
Well, you know, like my main thing is, like, you know, I'm working on myself all the time, and and so as I'm doing that, it ripples out to everyone else, obviously. And so, you know, I just love to help empower people to create a life that, you know, where you can find some inner peace and happiness. And you know, we're often just, and I think what's happening right now is a big reflection of all of that. You know, is the craziness, the chaos. I call it like pseudo community. So it's where we're all can be polite, or we can be rude. You know, like we can fight, or we can, you know, but it's still pseudo. It's not real, and it's not true community. And so yeah, I mean, that's my goal, is to help everyone who I come into contact with to to have a life that is full of love and you know, inner peace and joy. Yeah, let's enjoy this. You know, like, if I learned anything, you know, like I've helped 4 really close loved ones over the last 8 years to transition, and if I learned anything at all from that, is to enjoy every single moment, and not waste your time worrying over the little stuff. You know,
Don't sweat the small stuff, as Stuart
no
Wells.
way. Yeah.
And you know, I think also with yourself and me and the other people who are out there doing this work and shining our lights, that in itself, because we're challenged, right? We don't have a life that is a clear road. We're challenged all the time, but it's how we deal with that challenge, and that's our learning and our lessons. But by us going through that and then teaching that to others, it really shows people it's possible, and I kind of like that aspect of it as well.
That's always been a big thing for me. You know, like, I've got 4 daughters, and adult daughters now, and I've always tried to be a model for them, in showing them, you know, that life sometimes is really, you know, well, I swear quite a bit, so, you know, I'm not going to swear on TV, but you know what I mean. And, you know, the thing is that we have a choice. You know, we have a choice about how we're going to react. If we're going to react or act, and what are we going to do, you know? So I've learned all these things over 20, 30 years of doing this work, and you know, meeting many amazing people, and you know, doing a lot of stuff. But you know, if I can show them and other people that it's possible, that you can, you know, get past those things and move into a better place, then you know, then I feel like I've accomplished quite a lot. Yeah.
Especially with your story and those illnesses that you did have, that ill health, so many people, I think we'll actually see more of that over the next, you know, little while, because people are just exhausted with the fight. And so, you know, to really be showing them that, you know, the resistance is keeping it all there. The other thing I liked what you said was that you can act or you can react. And the reacting to things is what affects the body.
That's Right.
as well.
Yeah.
Just like you were reacting like as a kid because you were not getting any attention, right?
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting. And I was a stubborn student. It took me quite a few years to get it. My mentors must have torn all their hair out over those first few years. Like, why is she not getting it? But when people are ready, we get it, don't we? When we're ready,
Exactly.
we get it.
Yeah.
And I just love that we're all out there inspiring people and just planting little seeds of possibility in them that they can have a better life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have happiness.
And they can get through, like I said, it took me a long time, and there was a lot of learning in there, and I changed a lot about my life and about how I lived my life, and let go of a lot of core beliefs again, things that I thought I had to have, the house a certain way, I had to be this, I had to do that, and I let go of all of that, and then I just be, I was just being, and I learned that through that experience, and like I'm constantly learning it. It's like
it never ends. Right?
It doesn't end. I always think like it ends when you're gone. Like, but and then who knows what the hell then? Like,
can I ask you something about people are fascinated with what the review of someone's life is when they are about to pass over. What's one of the important messages that you've got, apart from enjoying your life and having fun and not sweating the small stuff? Is it expressing how you feel more and all of that kind of stuff too?
Well, what I do try to do is I try to encourage people to actually be a part of it. Don't be afraid of it, and don't run away from it. It's like we're being given the most amazing opportunity to help our loved one. I've helped my sister, my dad, my mum, and a friend, good friend. So, like we're given it's like you're grieving while you're doing that.
Yes.
You're giving them the opportunity to actually express their stuff and get it out before they go. You're also giving yourself that opportunity, and you being afforded the most amazing gift of being present. And you said before, like, I've done birth and I've done death, and to me they're very similar. One is helping one come into this world, and another one is helping it go out. And either way, we don't know what is going to be there. When we come in here, we don't have any idea of what this world will hold, and when we leave, we don't know either. So it's an unknown. But
to have someone help transition through that is good, though, because so many people are frightened. So.
Yeah, and we hand it over to other people to deal with because of that, and like for each of those experiences, I nurse them right up to the time of death, and then afterwards I washed them, dressed them,
it's beautiful.
Sat with them until it was time for them to go, and like
it's a real honor for both of you. A real honor for both of you. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, I just like being with my mum and dad and my sister, like doing that was very special.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. So if people want to work with you at the moment, you do online work?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can go to my website, and you can actually get a free 20-minute clarity call to see
beautiful.
What you might like, what you might like to do with me, and then we can go from there.
Awesome. So I've got your website going across the screen here. I've also got it in the description, but it is relaxrelaterejuvenate.com or the same name, Relax, Relate, Rejuvenate on Facebook. And I'd really encourage you to connect with Michelle. Check out what she does on her website and book in that free call, and head over and become part of her community on Facebook, because she's always got something going on there, and also with other things that are happening, she'll post up on there as well. And so you get lots of inspired stuff and knowledge, and you also follow Michelle's journey.
I have a group attached to that Facebook page, which is called Shell Space. And
yes.
So, you know, in there I'm you know, I'm trying to create community, you know, and look, I had no idea that all this stuff was coming when I did this, but here it is. And
there it is.
Yeah, it's like the most important thing we need to do right now is to be a part of a community, a true community, and where we can be real and vulnerable and share. So
absolutely. So they can find the link to that there as well, and go and join them in the group.
For sure.
And so it's been so lovely talking with you. Thank you for coming on. And even with all our techie issues, we're still smiling.
Of course.
We got there in the end.
And I may be up on the Sunshine Coast, well, I'm flying into Cairns, and then after I'm finished there, I'm not sure where I'm going, but it may be to the Sunshine Coast for a little bit. So if I'm there, I'll let you know, and look, you know, we can catch up.
Absolutely. And so thank you everybody for tuning in. Please hook up with Michelle on her website, on her Facebook page and her group. And thank you again, Michelle, for being here. And I look forward to seeing everybody next week on our next episode of TrishRockTV. Bye for now.
Bye.